Just powerful.
Look right at him. Everything goes purple.
Oh, it's working now.
We're live.
Oh,
all
we're
right.
back. We're back. We're back.
Take two, Leo.
All right. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, which means it's probably been too long, but we've been busy, out of town events. Ty, tell us about your journey. Where have you been the past 2 weeks? You've been coast to coast.
No, it's been a lot, but it's been awesome. I went out to Newport, Rhode Island, not California.
Pretty place, right?
And I was in Newport, California just a few days ago.
Oh, that's right.
But,
Newport to Newport, coast to
Newport
coast.
to Newport. Went up to Boston, spent some time with Britton and Jamie in Cape Cod, and saw the Dolphins take care of the Pats as usual. No surprise there.
No question. Yeah, they looked good.
Went and saw the Yankees play the Red Sox at Fenway, and that was...
It was Yankees and Red Sox?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
And get this, I couldn't find a place to park. I'm driving downtown Boston with Steve, and it's like New York status out there. It's just madness. And so we were late for the game, and right as we were walking in, Aaron Judge hits a grand slam. We almost saw a grand slam at Fenway, but we didn't. So.
Damn, I am super jealous.
It was cool.
Yankees, Red Sox, that's like if there was ever a baseball game to go watch, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Listening to Sweet
In
Caroline
Fenway.
was like, this is just...
Bum, bum, bum.
It was awesome. And Steve's a big baseball guy, so I could tell he was in heaven.
Yeah. Wow, that's freaking epic.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did Yankees, Red Sox.
Yeah, we right after the event, we took a 2-hour drive straight up there. So.
Oh, nice. Scott and I were trying. I don't think there was any. I think they were out of town that weekend. But
Yeah.
Of course, it was March, so it was like still spring training.
And it wasn't bad because, oddly enough, Yankees and the Red Sox suck. Like, neither of them are making the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
And so we paid, I think, $150, and we were right behind home plate, maybe 10 rows up.
Oh, those are good seats.
It was awesome. Saw a home run over the big green monster.
Big green monster.
Yeah, it was great.
Man, that's awesome. And then what was Foxborough like, New England?
Honestly, so as you know, Leo, I've been to a lot of stadiums. Like, that's a bucket list thing for me. I'm trying to get to all of them. Leave it to Robert Kraft, probably the most well-run NFL experience I've had. Like,
really,
the parking situation. We're getting there, and I'm like, I rolled down the window. He's like, parking. I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? This crazy. He's like, parking. I'm like, oh, he says parking. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in, and they have these walkways that, like, from way out there, these awesome walkways that take you over tunnels or through tunnels and over highways, and it's just like in and out was so smooth. We went to the Hall of Fame. They have a Patriots Hall of Fame because they've had enough success to do so.
And I believe Tom was just joined it, right?
Oh yeah. I got to see all the Super Bowl trophies. The oldest known football in circulation is held at their Hall of Fame.
How old is it?
It's from the late 1800s, and it honestly looks like a basketball. It's like more round
and roundish looking.
Yeah. No wonder they never passed back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't very conducive. Just didn't really fly through the air very well. Well, that's awesome. And then last week we had a big event in Los Angeles, and that was a good time. And let's see, Francois, myself, and Robert were at that one, and it was interesting. There was Google, Uber, Microsoft, all these big companies had their executives there keynote speaking, and we were keynote speaking for Seven Figures Funding and for My Figures, so that was fun. And it wasn't too bad downtown. A little
how is LA?
I mean, there was obviously some drugged up people that were asleep on the side of right outside the building where we were staying. And we were downtown. We were literally just 2 blocks away from Crypto.com Arena where the Lakers play. And the convention center right there is up close. And you know what else is close? I found out because I was starving after our last day there. Sol Agave, the Los Angeles version, was half a mile away. I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
It was right there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Julian.
So
it was good.
How close were you to, like, the Coliseum?
Coliseum it's kind of on the other side of downtown LA, so probably a good 10 miles away.
Have you been there?
I have, yeah. We went to the Saints and Rams game when they were playing the Coliseum there.
Oh, okay. That's another one of those iconic.
It is. It is. It still has like the the fire that's lit up there from the 1984 Olympics that they had in Los Angeles.
And it's coming back. A rumor has it that's why LAX is such a
under construction
disaster right now.
Yes,
They're getting
and it
ready
was
for
definitely
the
under
Olympics.
construction for sure. And then you happen to be right down the street from us in California as well.
Yeah, we've been traveling so much for work lately. Decided it was time to. I have a 2-year-old and a now 9-month-old, and my wife and I have never been on a vacation with just the two of them. So we decided to go on our first family trip, and
Nice.
we went to Disneyland. And it was probably a year or two premature, but we had a good time.
We've done that too. Yeah, that happens.
You just as a parent, you so badly
Yeah.
want that Mickey Mouse experience, and we took Jack up to these characters, and from afar he's like Minnie,
Oh,
Goofy.
cool! And they
You
get
get him up
like,
close, freaks out.
Yeah,
so
yep. That's what Lucas did too. When we
Yeah.
took him. So
give it a few years, we'll be all right.
yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, we just have a few minutes today. We wanted to touch base and talk about what's going on in the financial world and the funding world for you as a business owner. What should you be aware of? And there's a few interesting things going on, but at the top of the list, we wanted to start with a money topic of 9 things that you didn't know about your credit cards. And this is an interesting topic because there's a lot more than what you probably know out there. I mean, your credit card, it's 2023. There's a lot of things that your card can do. I mean, obviously, you've got all the new chips that are in them. It's becoming much more touchless. Apple Pay is the best thing ever for your credit card. I just love when I'm out there and I don't have my wallet, and I hate carrying my wallet, even though it's only about that big. But it's nice to be able to pay with Apple Pay. But this was an article that caught your attention, Ty. What were some of the interesting facts that you wanted to share with everybody?
Yeah, there's a handful of things that really surprised me. There's 9 of them that they talk about. The first one, let's just breeze through because I agree and I disagree. It says your credit card doesn't really have an expiration date. Yes, that is true. The date that it shows on your card means that you can no longer swipe it or use that chip, but they're going to send you a new card and the number will be the same. However, you still can't use that card unless you know the new expiration. So I kind of disagree with number 1.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's just saying it's open-ended. It's not going to expire like a loan would.
It's not going to close up the account.
But number 2, this is the one that shocked me, Leo. There are enough credit cards in circulation right now that if you laid them down side by side, just everyone pulled out their cards side by side, it would wrap around the entire earth 3.5 times.
So we got a lot of plastic going on around the world.
Insane.
A lot of plastic.
It's let's see what this says. In the world, go up just a tiny bit on that. There are over 1.65 billion cards in circulation. Visa had 827 million, MasterCard 718 million. Which kind of surprised me. I didn't know MasterCard was that close to Visa.
Yeah, I would have thought that MasterCard might be half of Visa.
Yeah.
But wow, they're hustling.
Kind of similar to Amex at 109 million. I thought MasterCard would be closer there, but insane. Do you want to take this one's kind of interesting?
Interesting. So I mean, that's 88,000 miles of cards. So interesting. But if you've been wondering, like, who actually started this credit card thing and the plastic that we've been walking around with in our wallets for decades. Well, Sears is actually one of the founding fathers of plastic, and they were once America's golden retailer. And so the arrival of the Sears catalog was a special day in many households. I remember we used to wait for it because you'd look at all the coolest toys in the 90s before the internet had everything out there. And the card launched back in 1911, was the first retail store card back in 1911. So definitely a while ago. And then Citigroup bought Sears card on its membership list and then launched the Discover card during the 1986 Super Bowl. So interesting.
Which it is super interesting, though, because I was born in 92, and I'm kind of the older side of the generation that we don't know life without credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
And it's weird to think about, like, even my mother growing up, credit cards were pretty foreign for her in her youth and very new and not really accepted. And so it makes sense why this older generation is still very...
They like cash.
Exactly.
They're like, I hate
skeptical.
cash. I don't ever want to have cash.
Me, I'm like, why? Like, what on earth is cash going to do for me? I don't get cash back when I spend cash. I don't get insurance when I spend cash. None of it.
No.
So,
And that's always just such a key thing that people don't realize. Like if you have a personal and a business credit card and you're getting cashback rewards, you should always use those cards to pay for everything, because it just gives you free money. It gives you free money to take your kids to Disneyland. We're going to be going to Disney World next the first week of November, and that's paying for a lot of our Disney World trip. And so if you're not using cashback rewards in your life, please do.
yeah. So like you were saying, Sears, kind of that very first credit card, which could only be used there. The first credit cards per se that could be used multiple places were these restaurant credit cards that could only be used in New York. And there was 28 different restaurants and a couple hotels that if you had this credit card, you could use them there. But New York City is kind of the creator of the true unsecured revolving credit per se.
Interesting. So before you could only go use your card at just Sears, and maybe some other stores popped up and you could use the card only at those stores. And then the first amplification, or hey, this card can be used at multiple places, was in the New York restaurant scene. And the New York restaurant scene was truly epic. It still is in a lot of places there in Manhattan. And so interesting.
And those store cards do still exist. Like, we look at credit reports all the time and see, the Kohl's. Kohl's, for whatever reason, seems to be a really popular store card.
They push that card hard.
Yeah. They do. The creator of the very first credit card, honestly, if you do your research about it, said it was credit cards were just fads. No, they didn't think it would stick. They didn't think it would be accepted. They thought it'd be a fad and it would go away.
Wow. So
now we can span the world.
This guy, McNamara, he dropped, this is just a fad. So he actually had the first Diners Club, probably for those New York restaurants. He sold that card for a couple $100,000, was $1.6 million back in the 60s. But boy, if he would have held on a little bit longer, that would have been worth a lot more money.
Yeah. Here's kind of an interesting one. The first general purpose credit card was sent as junk mail. Right. In 1958, Joseph Williams, Bank of America employee, had this bright idea of, hey, let's mail out 60,000 genuine Bank of America credit cards to people in Fresno, California. And so what happened, the cards, they were just made of paper, and they pre-approved a credit limit of $300, totally unsolicited. And what it says is by October, because this was 1958, by October of 1959, Williams had distributed 2 million credit cards to people all across California.
And the sad thing was 20% of all those credit card holders went delinquent because they didn't know. They're like, oh, cool. They probably just thought it was free money. Kind of like how gift cards are today. Oh, it's free money. And 20% of them just never paid it back. And so Bank of America loses $8.8 million during that launch. And now, of course, today it's illegal to just send out credit cards because you have a lot of identity theft, et cetera. But interesting.
Well, they still kind of do it. Have you noticed that? I didn't realize
I got some
these credit
15
cards
years ago for sure. And I didn't ask for them.
Well, and even now, that's illegal, but they send you these credit cards. Like, you get something in the mail, it looks like a real card, but it says at the bottom in fine print, this is not a real card, blah, blah, blah.
Has all of
They're trying to replicate.
Has all of the hallmarks of a real card.
Exactly. And that's where it came from. It's kind of interesting. Number 7 is credit card companies spend around $80. It takes $80 to acquire a card user.
Sometimes more. Sometimes they pay affiliates a bunch of money to bring those in. But yeah, interesting. So they know their business, right? They know that even if they offer a 0% interest rate, that the average balance is going to be X, and they're going to collect this amount of interest, and the lifetime value of that customer is going to be substantially more than whatever their cost is to acquire that customer. And that's one of those key parameters and indicators that you need to know in your business. What is your cost to acquire a customer? And if you don't know that, you've got to know that. And so interesting that there's obviously costs. And then there's some stuff about the digits, the numbers behind the card.
Yeah. So we'll start with number 8 because number 9 blew my mind. I had no idea that. Did you? All right, we're going to get to that. Yeah. Number 8, the first 2 digits on your credit card identification number identify the type of industry that issued the card. Or
I did not know that.
Yeah, I knew that like you could depict the first 4 numbers and know if it's Amex, but I didn't know that it went even further than that. So it is kind of interesting, and you can do your homework. You can do a quick Google search and figure out what the numbers actually mean.
So it says all Amex cards start with the number 3. Numbers 4 and 5 are for banking institutions. If it starts with a 4, you have a Visa card. Number 5 is for MasterCard. Number 6 is for merchandising and baking. And if it starts with a 7, it's for a gas card. 8 is telecommunications. 9 is national assignments, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's interesting. My Amex does start with a 3. It says Amex Dinners Club. Interesting. Yeah, so the numbers do mean something. And you know what? You take this one.
All right, you can validate a credit card just by adding its numbers. So by following the LUN algorithm, a simple checksum, you can easily check a credit card number that it's valid. So that's where sometimes, if you're trying to verify identity, there's different websites where you actually have to put a legit card in, not necessarily to pay for something, but to show that you're a real person, you have a credit card that goes back to your name. And if you put in a fake card, it knows, and this is how it knows.
Yeah, look, I was kind of thinking in circles because last night I was just laying in
how
bed
do you
reading
know
this.
if you're not charging me? Right?
Here's what it says. Starting from the right, double every other digit on your credit card. Now add the double digits to the ones you didn't double. Note that if you have a double-digit number such as 15, you must use the sum of its digits. For instance, 15 is 1 plus 5 equals 6. If the total sum is divisible by 10, it's a valid credit card number.
Oh, interesting.
Bizarre. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then it goes on past the 9, and ultimately there's I guess I was kind of on this wild goose.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. But the other few things that really surprised me is Bank of America. There's about 200 museums in the U.S., including Metropolitan Museum of Art, the big one in Orlando. We're going to be here in a few days.
Oh, very cool.
You simply show them your Bank of America card and you get free admittance. You don't have to pay.
Nice.
Did not know.
Yeah, we know Amex has got some special things going on with Delta at the airport, and I think, was it Bank of America that's with American Airlines, I want to say?
I believe, actually, is it that or Alaskan Air? I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah.
There's
Anyway, there's different cool things where your card can literally help you skip the line at the airport. A lot of cool things like that.
Yeah, well, and a lot of them just aren't promoted. Like, there's certain Amex cards that get you into private golf courses that you'd have to be a member to play. And sometimes you only find out if you call Amex and say, hey, what are the hidden perks behind this card that you aren't promoting, and you'd be surprised what you can do.
It seems like the card issuer with maybe the most perks out there that you don't know about that really can pay dividends, probably American Express.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that just over and over last night. Like, I guess they're partnered with Ticketmaster, and so all these big sporting events, you can get access to tickets before the general public. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift had a little deal going on with Capital One.
Yeah.
Where if you paid with a Capital One card, so we used our Capital One card. Kayla and I were so excited. Of course, we could. That was back when the Ticketmaster thing was falling apart. But luckily, you helped us and we found an alternative route to get our Taylor Swift concert tickets.
How about all these Swifties? Like, I'm seeing post after post saying, like, there was one I saw yesterday, Marie was telling me about, where this lady is talking to her husband, is like, can you believe that Taylor Swift just shows up to this football game and now Travis Kelce's on the map? It's like, give me a freaking break. He's one of the greatest.
If you know football, this guy's been on the map, and I think when it's all said and done, he may end up as the best tight end ever. And if he stays in Kansas, which clearly he's going to, and Patrick's not going anywhere, then he's going to end up with the top numbers for tight ends in terms of all-time catches, yards, etc. And he's just a very, very impressive tight end. He's already got 2 rings because he's been with Patrick the entire time, and he's clutch.
Was kind of funny. Jason Kelce was saying that him and DeAndre Swift, his running back, are a better combo than Travis and Taylor Swift. So it's a better Kelce Swift combo.
Yeah, there's like all these little post pictures of them getting off on a private jet and doing all these things, and you wonder if that's just like deep fakes. Are they really there? But clearly something's going on, because she was in the suite box there with Travis and Jason's mom, and it was funny. She was screaming, just losing her mind. Travis's mom was just like, I see this every Sunday. It's not a big deal.
It's almost like Travis's mom was unamused. Like, she's the boy mom, the kind of tomboy growing up, and she just was not.
Yeah,
she was
not impressed.
It's kind of funny.
But yeah, my daughter was paying attention. Oh, Travis must be really cool, and wow, look at him. And like,
Yeah.
okay, great.
If people didn't realize, there was an NFL team that dropped 70 points this week, and everyone cares more about Taylor Swift at a Chiefs game.
Let's talk about, we're 3 weeks in with the NFL. What are your takeaways?
My takeaways, Leo, is I'm not going to say completely wrong, but I was a little off on a few teams.
There's been some surprises. I'm curious, what are your biggest surprises so far?
By far the biggest surprise is the Bengals. Even though they won last night, I still don't think that's a good Rams team. I think they're well coached. They'll win a few games, but their talent is not there. And the Bengals...
Stafford doesn't have anybody to throw to.
He's got Puka Nacua.
He's got Puka Nacua from BYU last year. Go Cougars for, Jill and you. But that's about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anyone to throw to.
And the Bengals still struggled.
Yeah, the Bengals
edged
out.
That's my biggest surprise. Jacksonville, I thought would be a lot better.
That's kind of a surprise.
And then on the adverse side is the Colts are a lot stronger than I thought.
Bucks have showed up better than I thought, so.
Yeah.
They haven't played anyone either, though.
So, but overall, I think we've been pretty spot on. My betting has been, it's like at an 80%.
Yeah, your betting has been on point.
It's been great this year.
Did you have any college bets this last weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How'd you do?
I did well. I hit a big parlay and a teaser.
I'm guessing you didn't bet on Colorado to beat Oregon.
No.
Sorry, Coach Prime.
I felt that train.
We all saw that was coming to an end.
Yeah, we saw that one. But I've got to run. We're launching a big new process to our system on October 1st.
Get this going.
So I've got to run and get a training, but I want to leave with my NFL top 5 power rankings because we like to do those every week or so.
What do we got?
And a lot of similar teams to last time, but I think that it's time to shuffle the board here a little bit. Again,
we've only got 3 undefeated teams left, and it's going to week 4. That's pretty fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's
game
a
of the
lot of
week
parity.
this week for sure is Miami at Buffalo, and guess what, Leo? It's not winter, and those Bills aren't going to have their ice balls to.
It's
to
in
be
Miami,
throwing.
right?
It's in Buffalo.
Oh, it is in Buffalo.
It's not going to be snowy.
Oh,
they have to go down to Miami in late
Later
December,
on,
early January.
So great for everybody.
All right, at number 5 in the new NFL power rankings, I'm going to. I wanted to say Detroit. I always want to say Detroit, but I'm not. I've got to keep Buffalo there. I think they've earned that 5 spot, especially with that big win this last week. At number 4, we're back at full strength with Kelsey and Chris Jones.
And the
they
Swifties.
look scary, and the Swifties. We're keeping the Chiefs right there. They don't quite have the offensive weapons to be any higher than that, in my opinion. So at number 3, we're going the Philadelphia Eagles, extremely complete team. Something feels a little
off.
Yeah.
But when you can rush for 200 yards every Sunday, it's pretty hard to lose.
Yeah, they're a really, really good team. At number 2, slipping 1 spot here, not that they did anything wrong. It's just the pure talent of the number 1 team. So at number 2, we're going the San Francisco 49ers. And at number 1, we're going Miami Dolphins, and that's genuinely my Super Bowl prediction right now.
70 points. When was the last time someone scored more than 60?
I think that was the most since 1966. And Leo,
there it is.
Miami had 9 minutes left when they hit 70. Mm-hmm. Their backups were in
unstoppable.
It was ridiculous. So, there it is. There you have it. Top 5. We've got the Dolphins. We've got the 49ers. We've got the Eagles. We've got the Chiefs. And we've got the Bills, with the Lions coming in at a very, very close 6th.
It's funny. The only differences I had Miami at 2 and San Francisco at 1. And the only reason I have that is because the 49ers defense is so tough. And we'll see. We'll see because, they don't play each other until the Super Bowl.
It would only be the Super Bowl if they did.
Which, if you're a betting person, that's probably what you're thinking right now. And then the other 2 I had the same, Philadelphia